Very good afternoon. You're watching Midday News. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you, and these are the headlines. Final list of 10 cities to be funded under Centre's Smart City mission to be announced in a couple of hours from now. A total of 100 cities being given 500 crore rupees central assistance each to make them citizen-friendly and sustainable. GST rates revised for 29 goods and 53 category of services. Many handicraft items not to attract any tax. New changes applicable from 25th of January. Two civilians killed and 5 injured in Pakistan shelling along the international border in Jammu and Kashmir for a second consecutive day. Union Minister Subhash Bhamre says force well prepared to contain violations. United States calls for prosecution of 2611 mastermind Hafiz Saeed to the fullest extent of law, says it has told Pakistan as much. Statement after Pakistan Prime Minister's remark that no action can be taken against Hafiz Saeed. And Indian players advance in the Australian Open. Leander Pace and Purab Rajya, an Indo-American pair of Divid Charan and Rajiv Ram, progress to the second round in men's doubles. Rohan Bopanna and French partner to play their match today. Our top story at the top of this hour, the final list of 10 smart cities for funding under the Centre's flagship Smart City mission will be announced today. The announcement will be made by the Minister of State for Housing and Urban Affairs, Hardeep Puri. Now, the 100 Smart Cities mission was launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on 25th of June 2015. The Housing and Urban Affairs Ministry has till now announced the names of 90 cities that the government aims to help under the scheme. Now, under the scheme, each city will get 500 crore rupees as central assistance for implementing various projects. All right, so the 100 Smart Cities mission was launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in June 2015, for which a total of 98,000 crore rupees was approved by the cabinet. Now, over 7,000 crore rupees was sanctioned in the first budget by the present government in 2014 for the development of the smart cities. The first batch of 20 cities was announced from among nominated 98 cities in January 2016. Now, known as the 20 lighthouse cities, Bhubaneswar topped the list, followed by Pune, Jaipur, Surat and Kochi. Lucknow, Bhagalpur, Faridabad, Chandigarh and Raipur were among the 13 cities in the second list. 27 cities were announced in this third list. These included Amritsar, Kalyan, Ujjain, Tirupati and Nagpur, while 30 cities made it to the fourth list. These included Thiruvananthapuram, Naya Raipur, Rajkot, Amravati and Patna. All right, let's get more details from my colleague Kriti Mishra, who is joining us now. Kriti, now the final set of 10 smart cities for funding under the Smart Cities mission will be announced today. So what have been the preparations and what has been the criteria for choosing these cities?
Well, Aishwarya, the list would be announced around 3 p.m. by Housing and Urban Affairs Minister Hardeep Singh Puri. Remember, around 15 cities have sent the proposals. So these include Dindigul and Erode in Tamil Nadu, Rampur, Raebareli, Saharanpur and also Meerut and Muradabad in Uttar Pradesh. Then there's Kavarati in Lakshadweep and also Amravati in Maharashtra and Itanagar in Arunachal Pradesh. Now remember, the centre has not prescribed any set format for the proposal because the approach has been one size fits all. So the smart cities, the proposals that these cities have said for that, they have to provide uninterrupted power supply, of which 10% of power supply has to come from solar energy. Then there has to be uninterrupted water supply with active metering, with rainwater harvesting, and also with water recycling. There, sanitation is also a very important element. So remember, there has to be garbage collection, active and efficient solid waste management, then efficient traffic management, and also efficient transportation system. So remember, these cities have sent the proposals, and we'll get the final list around 3 p.m. today. But remember, Aishwarya, a very important component is that this would also have a ripple effect, because the peripheral areas would also undergo transformation, creating not just smart cities but a smarter India very soon.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Kriti, speaking about this entire smart cities mission, we understand it is progressing at a brisk pace ever since it was launched. So tell us about the progress of the mission and also the overall aim of this mission.
Well, Aishwarya, the Smart City Mission is setting new benchmarks as far as the implementation of project is concerned, with focus both on time and quality. So even as we speak, there are around 3,000 projects worth 1.4 lakh crore rupees that are going at various stages. And also tenders have been called for more projects worth 16,000 crore rupees, and tender is being readied worth around 1 lakh crore rupees for various projects. So remember, this is a very ambitious project to create urban infrastructure on various parameters like robust IT connectivity, like efficient water supply, power supply, and also transportation system. So cities like Surat, for instance, have grabbed the top position as far as the implementation of this project is concerned. Other cities like Pune, like Indore, like Bhopal, like Jaipur are slowly catching up. So this is just not about creating urban infrastructure. The Smart City Mission would also give impetus to other missions like the Digital India Mission and also Swachh Bharat Mission, paving way for new India very soon. Aishwarya?
Absolutely. So mission really heralding the transformation of the entire country. Thank you so much, Kriti, for all those updates there.
Smart City Mission at 100. Which will be the final 10 smart cities? Catch the announcement as it happens live on Rajya Sabha TV from 3 p.m. today.
All right, let's get you some other news now. The GST Council approved rates for 29 goods and 59 categories of services on Thursday. The revised rates will be applicable from 25th of January, and rates on LPG for household domestic consumers by private LPG players, scientific and technical instruments have been reduced from 18% to 5%. The GST rates on drinking water packaged in 20 little bottles as well as biodiesel and a drip irrigation system have been reduced from 18% to 12%. Vibhuti, parts of hearing aids and de-oiled rice bran have also been placed under the nil category, and many handicraft items will also not attract any tax to protect jobs in the handmade industry. Now, rates on cigarette filter rods have been increased from 12% to 18%. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley also said that there was a general consensus on simplifying the return filing process, where GST 3B will continue, but a final decision would be taken in the next council meeting. GST provision requiring transporters to carry an electronic waybill or e-waybill when moving goods from one state to the other of over 50,000 rupees in value will be implemented from 1st of February.
In the services, there were some categories which were actually explanatory in nature. So these 29 goods and eventually 53 categories of services were accepted, and the new rates for these will all come into force from the 25th of January.
And in order to bring a transparency and accountability in corporate spending, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has announced 2 new portals. National CSR Data Portal and Corporate Data Portal were launched in the national capital by Union Minister Arun Jaitley on Friday. While the National CSR Data Portal will act as a one-stop platform for dissemination of information on CSR expenditure made by the companies, the Corporate Data Portal would make available information on company filings, including annual financial statements, annual reports. It would also cater to customized data services for research and analysis.
It's now all open to public gaze. And being open to public gaze has its own advantages. It has the advantage that there is a pressure on everyone to make sure that compliances do take place.
Let's get his news from Jammu and Kashmir, where 2 civilians were killed and 5 others were injured as the Pakistan Rangers heavily resorted to shelling in civilian areas and border outposts for the second consecutive day today along the IB in Jammu and Samba districts. Now, BSF troops effectively retaliated after Pakistan targeted around 40 border outposts in 3 sectors using mortar bombs, automatic and small weapons. And in view of the heavy shelling, over 1,000 border dwellers have migrated from the areas, and the schools along the borderline have also been closed. Yesterday, a 17-year-old girl and a BSF Jawan were killed and 6 persons were injured when Pakistani Rangers violated the ceasefire and heavily shelled BOPs and villages along the IB in 3 sectors of Jammu and Samba districts.
Our forces are well prepared. Government is sensitive and they are ready to tackle any eventuality on the border. To maintain the sanctity of the border, safeguard the borders of motherland, and at the same time to stop the cross-border infiltration. Unfortunately, that has been happening, and we have been active and we have been giving the befitting reply whenever is required.
पाकिस्तान जो है वो अपने कायराना हरकत से बाज नहीं आ रहा है और उसको बिल्कुल इसमें शर्म नहीं है जो मासूमों को मारने के। वहां पर हमारे कल 2 मंत्री जो है भारतीय जनता पार्टी के वो वहां पर गए थे। दोनों बॉर्डर के लोग रहने वाले हैं, आज भी वो जा रहे हैं। हॉस्पिटल में भी उनका पूरा जो है उनका जो इलाज का पूरा प्रबंध है, पूरी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन है, वहां एम्बुलेंसेज हैं, बाकी सब कुछ वहां पर इन प्लेस है। लेकिन पाकिस्तान को पूरा जोर से जो है जवाब दिया जा रहा है और पाकिस्तान को इसके नतीजे भुगतने पड़ेंगे।
And the United States has called for 26/11 terror mastermind Hafiz Saeed's prosecution to the fullest extent to the law. Now, this came after Pakistan's Prime Minister Shahid Khaqan Abbasi's remark that no action could be taken against the UN-designated terrorist. Reacting strongly to the comments, State Department spokesperson Heather Nauert said that the US believes that Hafiz Saeed should be prosecuted, and they have told Pakistan as much. The US has labelled JUD the terrorist front for the Lashkar-e-Toiba, a group that Hafiz Saeed founded in 1987. LET was responsible for carrying out the 2008 Mumbai terror attack that killed 66 people. The US has also said that it has had some challenging times with the government of Pakistan recently, and that the Trump administration expects Pakistan to do a lot more to address terrorism issues.
Points and our concerns to the Pakistani government very clear. We believe that this individual should be prosecuted. The Pakistani government released him from house arrest not that long ago. We believe that he should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. He's listed by the UN Security Council 1267. The Al-Qaeda Sanctions Committee for targeted sanctions due to his affiliation with Lashkar-e-Taiba, which is a designated foreign terror organization.
And at a time when Pakistan is getting isolated on the issue of terrorism, Russia has openly backed Pakistan, calling it a victim of terrorism. The assertion by Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Igor Mokyulov at the geopolitical conference Raisina Dialogue that concluded on Thursday has thrown up a new debate on the changing geopolitical scenario in the subcontinent.
Is Russia looking at a strategic opportunity of a Russia-China-Pakistan grouping versus U.S.?
Stating that Russia has provided helicopters to Pakistan in its fight against terrorists, Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Igor Morgulov on Thursday claimed that it is a victim of terrorism.
We provide support to Pakistan to improve its counterterrorism capabilities. We sold several helicopters to Pakistan, to help them to fight and to help them to provide to have their own counter-terrorist operations. You know that Pakistan is also suffering from terrorist attacks.
The statement was countered by Zalmay Mamozi Khalilzad, a former U.S. ambassador to Afghanistan, Iraq, Russia and the UN.
While the U.S. is trying to pressurize Pakistan, India supports us and others. Russia is seeing an opportunity to take advantage of that Pakistan's potential isolation.
India has already expressed concern at the open support to Pakistan by China and its supply of helicopters by it.
What is Pakistan facing today? It's facing results of this support to extremism that it jumped in for. And more it supports extremism, more the dangers of going downhill.
Russia is basically signaling, trying to signal its own displeasure or concerns about the growing US-India partnership and the recognition, as I've just mentioned, of India as a major defense partner. And they think that this is a direct challenge to the India-Russia defense partnership.
Expressing a different view, former Afghan President Hamid Karzai said, although 90% of Pakistan's weapons are still American, Russian involvement could throw open a new dimension altogether.
Russia is an important factor in our region, and the Russian influence towards bringing a solution to the question of terrorism is a welcome one, and we hope they will do all they can to bring us to that.
Russia is our oldest ally, and we have to have concerted talks with Russia on these issues. In changing geopolitics, such type of irritants come, but we have to resolve it through consistent talks. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha television with camera person Prasanto in Delhi.
And the Ministry of External Affairs has said that the status quo has not been altered at Doklam, where Indian and Chinese troops were locked in a standoff for over 2 months last year. Now, responding to repeated questions about any change in the status quo, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Ravish Kumar said, and I quote him now, "Our attention has been drawn to some reports that question the accuracy of the position stated by the government in respect to the situation in Doklam. The government would once again reiterate that the status quo at the face-off site has not been altered. Any suggestions to the contrary is inaccurate and mischievous," unquote. Kumar's remarks came in the wake of media reports about China carrying out some infrastructure development in the disputed region. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu wrapped up his 6-day tour to India today morning. Earlier on Thursday, among his last engagements during his visit was a star-studded Bollywood event. Netanyahu posed with Bollywood superstars at the Shalom Bollywood event in Mumbai as a sign of a great friendship between India and Israel. Top stars and filmmakers from Bollywood were present at the event, including Amitabh Bachchan, Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, Abhishek Bachchan, Karan Johar, Vivek Oberoi, Sara Ali Khan, filmmaker Imtiaz Ali, Madhur Bhandarkar, Nikhil Advani, Subhash Ghai and lyricist Prasoon Joshi, among others. Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, along with producer Ronnie Screwvala, welcomed the Prime Minister and the First Lady of Israel, Sarah Netanyahu. Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis was also present at the event. Netanyahu's visit saw Israel sign 9 pacts with India. He attended events in Delhi, Gujarat and Mumbai and visited the Taj Mahal. He also inaugurated the Raisina Dialogue in Delhi.
I used to think I was a big deal. And then I found out that Amitabh Bachchan has 30 million more Twitter followers than I do. And I added up the followings of all the other Bollywood stars who are here tonight, and let's just say, you guys are a big deal. And the reason for that is that the world loves Bollywood, and Israel loves Bollywood. I love Bollywood. And we put forward a modest sum of 4 million shekels to begin with. And I want to make a pledge tonight. If you come and you need more, we'll put in more. We want Bollywood in Israel.
And news from Goa now, where at least 2 women have been hospitalized and hundreds of residents in Goa's Chikalim village have been evacuated from their homes after a tanker carrying ammonia overturned in the nearby highway connecting Vasco City to Panaji. The incident occurred early morning today when the tanker carrying ammonia overturned at the highway and the gas started leaking from it. The disaster response teams were sent to the site immediately, while police and fire and emergency services personnel were asked to wake up people and evacuate the entire area. The highway crossing through Chikalim village has been blocked now, and the traffic has been diverted through other roads. Nearly 300 houses are located in the area a few kilometers from Goa's Doklam airport. And Vice President of India, M. Venkaiah Naidu, has said that untouchability is the real enemy of humanity and helping the poor is real patriotism. The Vice President addressed the All India Telugu Association event in Chennai commemorating the 258th birth anniversary of Veera Pandya Kattabomman and 250th Jayanti of Sadguru Tyagaraja on Thursday. Addressing the event, the Vice President said that India has always celebrated diversity and plurality. He said that Indians have been particularly sensitive to the linguistic and cultural needs of minority groups. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu called on the youth to take full advantage of opportunities available in the country and help the country by creating jobs. He also said that one must protect and preserve the best traditions in our culture.
If you help the poor, that is real patriotism. If you take care of the suppressed, depressed, oppressed people, that is patriotism. If you take care of nature, and if you follow your culture, and then plan for future, that is patriotism, that is nationalism.
And Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu also exhorted India's exporters to focus on new markets and new products. Addressing the exporters after conferring FIEO Exports Excellence Awards 2018 in Chennai, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu said that they must pay attention to products which show higher growth in global trade, including electric, electronic and telecommunication equipment. The Vice President added that government's Make in India initiative to support India's manufacturing sector, together with its focus on infrastructure growth and multiple initiatives for boosting domestic demand, will further strengthen the economy. He further said that policy decisions like demonetization and GST will have a positive impact on the economy in the coming years, and that the government was ready to address any problems that have been faced by the exporters.
Friends, what I am suggesting is that we must find out what are the other avenues of exports, where our imports have become less and exports become more. We should think on those. There is no dearth of knowledge and talent here. The Make in India, the Skill India, the Digital India, the Clean India, VCDC program, or the Stand Up, or the Startup. All these programs are aimed at releasing the forces of growth, unleashing the forces of the growth among the people.
And 7 girls and 11 boys will be conferred with the National Bravery Awards this year. Altogether, 18 children, including 7 girls, have been selected for the National Bravery Awards 2017 by the Indian Council for Child Welfare. Amongst them, 3 of the awards will be given posthumously. Now, these brave children will join the Republic Day parade, and Prime Minister Modi will award these awards on the occasion. Also, the selected children will be given medals, certificates and cash prizes. This time in the category of awards, the coveted Bharat Award goes to 16-year-old Nazia from Uttar Pradesh. She showed courage in collecting evidence against the illegal business of gambling and betting and passed on the information to the police, which led to the arrest of all the people involved in the racket.
अब तक हम कम से कम 900 बच्चों को ये पुरस्कार दे चुके हैं और इसकी भिन्न भिन्न राशियां हैं। जैसे सबसे प्रथम पुरस्कार जो है वो भरत अवार्ड है, जिसकी राशि है 40,000 और उसके अलावा जब बच्चे उसके बाद भरत अवार्ड के बाद है आपका संजय चोपड़ा अवार्ड, फिर गीता चोपड़ा और 3 बापू गायधानी अवार्ड हैं और उसके बाद जनरल अवार्ड्स हैं। तो इस बार हम लोगों ने 18 बच्चों को अवार्ड दिए हैं और इनमें इन बच्चों ने बहुत साहसपूर्ण कार्य किया है।
ये हुआ था कि मैं आगरे में रहती हूँ और मेरे जो बराबर में सट्टा जुआ चरस का काम होता था और अब से नहीं 40-50 साल पुराना काम था ये और वो बंद नहीं हुआ और सबको पता थी वहाँ के ये काम गैरकानूनी होते हैं। वहाँ निकलने में भी प्रॉब्लम होती थी, आए दिन भीड़ इकट्ठी रहती थी, बेटियाँ निकलती नहीं थी, महिलाएँ निकलती नहीं थी। ये हुआ था। फिर मुझे रानी लक्ष्मीबाई वीरता पुरस्कार मिला था। उसके फिर मेरे आस पड़ोसी दुकानदारों ने कहा तुम्हें इतना बड़ा अवार्ड मिला है, रानी लक्ष्मीबाई वीरता पुरस्कार से सम्मानित हो सकता है प्रशासन आपकी सुने। जब पूरी सुनवाई हुई मेरी, बाद में जब मैंने अपने बारे में बताया अधिकारियों में सब कुछ और वीडियो दिखाई, फोटोज़ दिखाए वहाँ के गैरकानूनी काम के, तो मुझे प्रशासन ने हेल्प भी मिली और वो काम आज बंद है।
And India remained unbeaten in the group stages of Under-19 World Cup, beating Zimbabwe by 10 wickets in the final game. India scored 266 runs for 8 wickets while opting to bat first. Zimbabwe has scored 235 runs for 10 wickets. India has qualified for the ICC Under-19 World Cup quarterfinals and are set to face Bangladesh next. And on to news from the Australian Open now. And 6-time champion Novak Djokovic of Serbia beat Gael Monfils of France 4-6, 6-3, 6-1, 6-3 to reach the third round. And Djokovic will now face Albert Ramos Vinolas of Spain. Unseeded Indian pair of Leander Paes and Purav Rajya defeated Georgian-Australian pair of Nicholas Bassishvili and Andreas Heather Moirer 6-2, 6-3 to enter the second round. And the Indian duo will next face Britain's Jamie Murray and Brazil's Bruno Soares on Saturday. Meanwhile, in men's doubles, Rohan Bopanna and French Edouard Roger Vasselin advanced to the third round, beating the pair of Joan Sosa and Leonardo Mayer 6-2, 7-6. Speaking about the women's singles draw, Russia's Maria Sharapova defeated her Latvian opponent Anastasia Sevastova 6-1, 7-6 to reach the next round. Sharapova will now face Angelique Kerber of Germany. And that's a wrap on this news bulletin. But before we go, here is a reminder of our special coverage from 3 p.m. today, as the final 10 names in the smart city missions are going to be announced. So don't forget to tune in at that time. Meanwhile, thanks for watching.
Smart City Mission at 100. Which will be the final 10 smart cities? The announcement as it happens live on Rajya Sabha TV from 3 p.m. today.